Hi, welcome aboard. A little later we'll be meeting a man who's made some enormous contributions to the motoring world, particularly amateur motor racing over the last 40 years or so. John Wynn, he's a character, he's a mate of mine, and I'm sure you'll enjoy meeting him. Nev Howard will be continuing his series on fishing. But first up, a couple of weeks ago when we showed you the first flight of the Sparrow here, we conducted that flight from Boonah, which is a town to the southwest of Brisbane. Now, Boonah has become an aviation centre with the move of Ausflight Aviation to Boonah a few years ago in a government-sponsored airfield development there, which bids fair to become one of the largest in southeast Queensland. Now, Ausflight Aviation took over the design of an aircraft called the Drifter, which originated in the United States of America and which had been very successful in America. It's a second generation ultralight, which means that its wings are covered with sailcloth, and up until now those wings have been braced by a number of fairly heavy cables. Now, that is old technology, but it's old and proven technology, and it's technology which really works. But the aviation movement historically abandoned the idea of wire bracing around about the end of the First World War. And from there they went to a different technology. They went to a technology which involved the use of aluminium or steel tube struts, which go from the bottom of the fuselage to the wings about 2/3 of the way out. And they support not only landing loads, which is when the wings want to come down when the aircraft lands, but also flying loads, which means they want to fold up while the aircraft is airborne. And these struts, and indeed the wires in the case of the earlier model of Drifter, are designed to hold the wings rigid regardless of what the flight regime or the loads that the aircraft may experience may be. Now, the Drifter's a very interesting design. It's a second generation ultralight. It's been around for a long time. It originated in America with a man named Klaus Hill, who started off with an aircraft that looked like it, but which was called the Hummer. Now, all of that happened over 20 years ago. But Ausflight had the Australian distribution rights for the Drifter, but when the Australian authorities decided that the certification standards for Australian ultralights should be higher, it was found that the American design of the Drifter didn't conform. So Ausflight embarked on a program of updating the Drifter so that it conformed to Australian and therefore world standards, and it became effectively an aeroplane which looks the same as its American ancestor, but fundamentally it's a totally different, far stronger and far better flying aircraft. Now, the Drifter has always been extremely durable, and one of the reasons for that is its simplicity. But one of the problems with wire-braced aircraft is the fact that those wires generate a huge amount of aerodynamic drag. They're very strong, they're very reliable, they're easy to inspect, and they have a lot going for them. But from the point of view of performance, they do impair the performance of any aircraft to which they're fitted. So Ausflight, Jim Fenton of Ausflight, looked at that very carefully about a year ago and decided that the aircraft would be greatly improved by eliminating those wire braces and replacing them with slightly later technology that came in the 20s and 30s, and that was by the use of aluminium tube Y struts to support the wings. Now, it's a very simple matter to take the wires off and bolt the struts on, and you can do that and have the aircraft fly. But if you wish to have it certified, it requires the measurement, the engineering calculations, and also practical proof loading of the aircraft to make sure that its ability to withstand stress, that its long-term metal fatigue performance, and that all other aspects of its performance will either remain the same or be enhanced by the modification. That's an expensive process. Ausflight are on the end of that expensive and time-consuming process, and the strut-braced Drifter has now been certified for flight in Australia and also for two-seat flight. Now, one of the great advantages of doing this, and the one that Jim was after in the first place, apart from simplicity, was the fact that the performance of the aircraft has been quite considerably enhanced. It's powered by a 65 horsepower liquid-cooled two-stroke Rotax 582 engine, which is state-of-the-art as far as two-strokes are concerned in the world. And with that engine and with the struts, the Drifter is able to achieve a cruise speed which is around about 10 knots, which is almost 20 kilometres an hour faster than the wire-braced Drifter. Now, that's quite a remarkable advantage indeed, and it certainly shows what a little bit of thought and a little bit of engineering can do to the performance of an aircraft, and I guess that applies to just about any vehicle. Now, the purchase price of the aircraft has not been impacted to any great degree, and it's also possible to retrofit the strut kit to older wire-braced drifters. Virtually every other aspect of the aircraft remains exactly the same. So it certainly was an improvement to an already superb aeroplane, something that will make the aircraft far more economical to operate, easier to own, and certainly easier to maintain. It brings its appearance up into probably third generation ultralights, and any aeroplane can certainly do with looking more modern, but this is one of the real workhorses of the Australian aviation industry. In fact, I would estimate that drifters fly as many hours as all of the general aviation, sporting aviation aircraft anyhow, if you like, in Australia each year. There are a lot of them around. They do a superb job, and they're gaining a bigger and better reputation as time goes by. The strut brace drifter is a great improvement on the original wire braced one. We'll be back right after this break.